Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No.
It's about 110 kilos.
What is that in like pounds?
What's that in pounds? I've got no idea. I don't really know how to convert
Isn't it
it.
like
2.2?
about double?
Yeah, I think it's maybe a bit more than double. Yeah, something like that.
How many kilos?
About 110.
So you were like probably
220?
230?
Yeah.
220, 230? It's
Yeah.
about double. We'll just say, damn, that's about what?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to do the reverse
Proud of
transformation.
you.
Pull up my Instagram, and we'll see how much of a fat sack of shit I've become.
To do that.
Pull up young Brian. We got to get young Brian.
Let's look at Brian's transformation.
All right, let's scroll down. Scroll down. Let's see it. I don't think I have any shirtless. I got the tank top photo. I got the surf photos.
The karate.
Look at, wait.
The karate photos.
Hey, take it easy. Oh, damn, Yael. Wait, say it again, Yael. Say it for the camera.
It's just a, I
Say,
was like,
say it. Go ahead.
it's like, that's you? Like, I didn't recognize you, sorry.
That should be some motivation.
お前はもう死んでいる。何？
Pull it back up. Pull it back up. Pull it back up.
Giga, look at the
Scroll.
karate photos. Who's that Chad?
That's me. I was like 12 years old. Pull up the karate photos. Pull up the
so
first
pale.
one.
Can you still do the poses?
This was photo day at the karate dojo. Okay.
Oh
I was
my God.
Look at this. Peaked in the scroll down. Or no, sorry. Next one. Over. Look at that fucking. Look at this fucking.
Alpha aesthetic.
Hold on.
The
Look at this shit,
hand.
boys.
I'm done.
You see that shit?
Hands are the same.
You see that shit, boys? Okay, and then come back. Go back. Exile that. Let's see the surf ones. Click on the one where I'm putting on my wetsuit.
This was
Bro.
on Wiki.
Now I got a belly, dude. There's no belly there.
Too much beer?
No, not too much beer. Too much in and out.
Oreos.
I don't drink. Wait, actually, hold on. Wait, X out one more. I gotta see one more.
You just gotta eat the protein style in and out, and then you're set.
Probably. Yeah, young Brian. Scroll up. That's me with the dong. Wait, what the fuck was that?
Guys.
Let's see. What about okay, pull up the angel one. Angel one. There you go. Look at that. Little flat tummy there. Flat tummy.
Halloween costume?
Yeah, well, originally, so this is like a little prank video I did. It's supposed to be a chick in this costume. So it's like a fucking extra small for a woman. But she flaked on the day of the shoot, so I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. There's gonna be like this angel devil thing. Anyways, you know, like the whole, the trope of the angel devil on the shoulder thing? So that was kind of, anyways. Wait. Wrath BSA says, hands like lethal weapons, bro. You don't even fucking know. I was a fucking menace in that karate dojo, bro. Just kidding. I did a bit of sparring. Anyways, where were we? Oh yeah, let's do that. Guys, twitch.tv/whatever. Drop us a follow. 1,500 people watching. If you're not following, just check and see. If you're not, drop us a follow. If you have a Prime sub available, it's been 5 minutes since we last had Prime. Help. Guys, I think it's bugged, boys. I think it's bugged. Like, can you help out with like a little Prime sub? Also, here's the thing. If you do have a Prime sub available, 50% of the earnings revenue from the Prime sub, it's gonna go to Mason. All fan funding. This includes Twitch Primes. And Primes, it's just if you have an Amazon Prime account, if you want to put as much as you can towards Mason, it's just another way you can help out. We're going to, 50% of all fan funding from tonight's episode will go towards Mason. Bat Booty thing for the Prime, Phoenix thing for the Prime. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you, guys. Okay. And then, Discord, discord.gg/whatever. And then we're going to get into these crazy pre-show notes from all the guests here. Guys, discord.gg/whatever. It's a pretty dope community. We've got a bunch of members. We post the BTS on there. It's through patreon.com/whatever. Last show, Brenna, the fucking liar, fake conservative chick, I posted this evidence of the tattoo matching to some degen video that she was lying about. And then a bunch of, like, some other people in the community were, I guess, posting links or something to off-platform to, you know, the fakery, the lying exposed. So Johnny Valentino, thanks for the gifted 5 subs there. Appreciate that. Guys, also like the video, please. Do a little like in the chat. Okay, let's get into some of the pre-show notes here. Let's see. Selena.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you said it on the last show. Isn't?
I had a different story last time.
What was the different story?
It was when the dude dropped me off on the highway.
It wasn't gonna be that. I think it was like, didn't you say that your dad supports the porn stuff?
He supports me as a person. Like, he would obviously rather me do a different job.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm his daughter. He loves me.
Right.
And, like, you know, we have a good relationship.
Okay, and then is there something about like toy dolls or something?
I mean, I do collect,
Do you collect?
reborn dolls, yeah.
What is it called? Reborn dolls?
Reborn dolls.
What's
Yeah.
that?
It's
Is it like this shit?
babies that look real. Like, so sometimes when...
Oh, sorry, I thought you were Morgan. My bad.
Don't do my girl Morgan like that.
You got the chocolate one.
That's for Madison. Madison, this one's for you.
Racist.
And then you get the. Damn, this one's all fucked
This
up. Here you go.
Asian baby.
There you go. That's for you, Selena.
Perfect.
Why do you have these?
Yeah, like why do you have them?
He also collects.
It's a segment.
Is this from the Ark? Look at it. It's like dirty.
Oh, that baby has been through a lot. I used it in prank videos. I did this flyaway baby prank. I did some other years ago. Anyways, so you're holding a baby that's had like millions and millions of views. Just letting you know.
It's like a celeb.
It's a celebrity. Wow, that's
Just post it up with me, you know?
just it has your eyes, I guess, or something.
It's sad as well.
So you collect toy dolls? Like, are they just all in your room?
Honestly, no. Like, honestly, when I was growing up, I always had dolls, and I've kept some of them over the years. But most of the time, now I am very interested in, like, the reborn dolls. I think the artists put a lot of work into them. I haven't bought one in a while. Like, it used to be a hobby of mine when I was, like, 16. I haven't bought one in probably a year.
I'll take it back, by the way. Just, I don't know. So, have you ever done any escorting?
I don't talk about that stuff online.
Okay. Anyways, moving on in my notes here. What about?
Sorry.
Oh no. Okay, I mean it's all right. She's not doing anything terrible. Okay, let's go to let's get to Gloske. You're a gaming streamer, OnlyFans, and a maid. I didn't know about the maid thing.
Yeah, I kind of quit that now.
Do you charge for it, or is it like I don't know? Like, is it one of those maid things where you like dress up in a like?
No, like it was kind of like it was kind of like an au pair job when I lived in Norway, but I recently moved back to the Netherlands, so kind of quit that. Yeah.
Here, Maddie, I'll take. Okay. Okay. Oh wait, you currently. Wait, you live in Amsterdam currently, or in
No,
the
so
Netherlands? Because
2
it says
weeks
here,
ago,
aren't you in
moved-
Norway or something?
2 weeks ago, I moved to the Netherlands.
Oh, okay. So this is from a while ago then.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know if we fully had it, but the big thing you wanted to come on and talk about was the body count thing.
Yeah.
Right. We sort of touched on it. Going around the table before we get into it, do you think men are insecure if they care about a woman's body count?
No.
Not okay. You're fine with that. What do you think?
No.
No. Okay. Well,
Can you say it differently? And
do you think men are insecure if they care about a woman's body count? And I think, I mean, you kind of already answered. You said yes.
yeah, I was just confused by the
Okay.
question.
Selena, what do you think?
What was the question?
Do you think men?
Are men insecure about their own body count?
No, about caring about a woman's body count.
I mean, it's just a preference. I don't think it's insecurity, to be honest. It's more of like a preference, like thing.
Sure. Ruby.
No.
No.
I don't think it's insecure because I would care about someone else's body count because of standard reasons. So.
Got it. Okay. Let's see then. Oh, you already said body count, Selena. We'll just do body count then, I guess.
Oh, like in total?
Yeah. What's your body count?
I don't know.
What was it last time?
I'm pretty sure I feel like I said the same thing. Because, like, I literally don't know. And then you ask me, like, bodies in porn versus in real life, and I still don't know.
Range.
Way less, though.
You don't need to give us an exact number. If it's like over
More than
50, over 100.
Not more than 100. No.
Stop the cap.
Selena.
It's not more
I thought
than
we were
100.
homies. How you gonna lie? How you gonna lie?
I ain't lying. It ain't
Why
more than
are you
100.
lying, Selena?
Okay, 100 is a lot.
Fuck.
Right. So
It's
is that
not
what it is?
more than 100.
99?
I mean, like, just in personal life.
Okay.
In
Well-
personal life, probably, like, I don't know.
Word?
Wait, probably less than 50 in real life.
And then what about like
In porn life.
working with?
Probably. Like, do females count?
Give us your male count and your female count.
Female count in porn is like less, probably like, I think maybe like 7.
7. Okay. All right.
Because like I mostly
Word.
do like stuff with guys for my job.
And then what's the male count then?
I don't know.
More than 50. I think you said.
In scenes, no.
Well, total. I meant there's more than 50.
Total, yeah, I
Okay,
guess.
yeah. What about you?
I'll just level.
9. I'm also 8 or 9.
Ruby.
I don't want to give an exact number, only because I know like some of my friends are gonna watch this, but definitely less than 5.
Okay. Jake. Voice crack.
Say
Jake.
it all the time.
Between me and the man upstairs.
Yeah. Yael.
I'm about to sneeze.
Sneeze the body count number.
No, it went away. I already said that. Like 2. Only. Yeah.
Wait, is that what you said last time?
Yep.
Okay. I don't share my body count, sorry.
Of course, y'all gonna say that, but then make us answer and be all like, "Oh, what's the exact number?"
Sucker.
What? What is that? Like, keep it real. Keep it real. You want me to keep it real? You keep it real.
I keep it real.
But you just said you don't want to answer.
I'm keeping it real.
That's not
I don't
real.
want to answer the
That's
question.
like the opposite of real.
That's super real. I don't want to answer
Have you
that.
ever answered on one of your podcasts?
No.
Oh.
I've not.
Like,
But
that
you
is
make
not
us
keeping
do
it real.
But I feel like the viewers can like maybe figure out a minimum. Who've been watching a long time, they can figure out a minimum based on like certain details.
Oh, what's your-
like okay, he's had this many relationships. Here's these girls. He's encountered like these kind of. Even from this conversation tonight, when I told y'all I've encountered certain types of women, y'all can probably figure it out from there.
You're just telling us you're a slut like
No,
that.
no,
What if we guess?
no. I am not going to answer this question. So, Glosky, body count. You had really strong opinions on it. What you got? What you got for us?
My body count?
Yeah.
I already answered that.
I feel like you had more opinions
More opinions.
on the body count conversation.
On a body count. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think
Like-
I said everything about it that I wanted to say.
Oh.
I'm just kind of like, I have a lot to think about when I go home because
Oh,
this
shit.
whole perspective is crazy to me. So
What's crazy about it?
that it means so much to you and that you view it as this thing, and I don't. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's fascinating because we're
It's fa-
human, and I mean, it's
Don't you think people are pair bonded for the longest time? And generally speaking, around the world, that's the norm, is that people, for the most part, get married and they're virgins in most cultures around the world.
probably, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's actually the norm, what we're saying. This is an anomaly.
Oh, there
with
is no
Western-
norm. I don't think there's a good or bad. I just like to hear your perspective on it. Because I thought that Americans and Europeans were quite like the same, but yeah, it's wild.
Well, I mean, just depends who you speak to, really. But
Yeah.
it's definitely an anomaly in the world how liberal Western culture is with sex. It's very, very taboo and frowned upon in most other places in the world.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Any
depending on the
religious
culture.
community, it's very frowned upon.
Yeah.
And most people in the world are religious. All the Muslims, all the Christians. Except for the Colombians. They're religious, but they just throw it around.
You been to Colombia, Jake?
I have. Going back in a few weeks.
Interesting. Nice. Wait, but you were starting to say, but we're people. What do you mean by that?
Like, I feel like we're kind of like,
Like judging? Is that kind of what you-
no, I mean like we're like I say, like we're the same-ish, as in I can speak English, you understand what I'm saying, because it's kind of like we can understand each other, but we've grown up so differently that we have such different perspectives on something that's like, it's so different, it's the complete opposite. That's just very fascinating.
I don't really understand.
It's like agree to disagree kind of thing.
But I mean, like, just because
What
we speak the
the
same
fuck?
language, I mean, for example, politics, right? Even in the Netherlands, there's more conservative politicians, there's super liberal politicians, but they speak the same language. So I'm a little confused by well, we speak the same language, thus we must have
Yeah.
identical.
Don't read too much into it. What I'm trying
Oh,
to say is
okay.
we're just kind of, we're the same, we're vibing. Most of us are, yeah,
Okay.
it's nice, and we get
That's
to meet
nice.
each
It's been a
other.
good
So it's
combo.
like, there's a lot of the same things, and we view the world in a lot of the same ways.
Uh-huh.
And I thought we were kind of grown up in the same ways. And now it turns out that there's a few things that are completely opposite. So that's,
So this is just a completely alien perspective to you that people should be more conservative.
I
with
mean,
their
I only
sexual
heard it
life.
on the podcast.
You've never heard that before? That's not something that was familiar to you at all, that people live
Only
that way?
on TV. Yeah.
Very interesting. Do you think that it's a positive thing when people pair bond and when people have families?
When people what?
Pair bond, when people like have families and they get together and they have long relationships and marriages and
think it's
families?
important?
Positive thing?
A positive thing. Yeah, I guess so, if that's what you want to do in life. But
What do you think would happen if everyone stopped doing that?
we'd be kind of screwed, but also times change, so who knows if that will ever
But
happen.
if just hypothetically, if that happened tomorrow and everyone stopped pair bonding and everyone stopped being, and males and females stopped being attracted to each other and just went away, or on the flip side, if everyone was just having sex and not being in relationships, not having families, not having kids, what do you think would happen to society?
Well, it shouldn't be the one extreme or the other extreme.
But
Hypothetically, I mean-
within the hypothetical, what do you think would happen?
We would be effed.
So then, with that in mind, and when you think about what makes a healthy society, which is nuclear
Both.
family,
You need both.
why do you need promiscuity?
Because you need something of everything.
Why? Why do you need that?
There's people who want to stay single and just...
I know people want to, but why do you need it? When we're talking about, this is more of a conversation about duties and about what makes a healthy society rather than what we want, what our desires are. Why do you need promiscuity in a society?
Because you need something out of everything.
Why?
People are different.
Why do you need it?
Not everyone matches together.
I know, but just is there a reason why? Because I gave you my reason why we need family, because that makes a healthy society, healthy communities.
Yeah.
We need to maintain our birth rate. We need to proliferate as a species. Why do we need promiscuity?
Because we're human, and we've been doing this since the beginning of time, and it would be bad if that would not be a thing anymore.
Do you think it would be bad if people got together young and they pair bonded and they had kids and families and they weren't sleeping around and there were no STDs and there were no abortions and there were no single mothers and criminals coming from single mother households and people on welfare? Do you think that it would be bad if those things were taken away?
It's two extremes. I do think you need like a healthy mix of the both of them to make things work.
Yeah, it's just funny because you can't really give a reason why though, because you're just saying just we need it because we need it, without much of a reason.
Yeah, because people are different. If everyone was the same and wanted the same thing, that would not really be a good thing.
But yeah, I think you're more talking about what we want. So people want to have lots of sex, and there are people that want to have lots of sex, and I think most men out there want to have a lot of sex. But what we want and what we need are two different things. We need a stable society in order to move forward, in order to have future
also
generations.
need people who think and act differently.
I would say that it's
You
good
can't go
if everyone
with
is.
the one and
If
not the
there are
other.
many different aspects of life. For example, people's creativity. We need creative people, and we need more orderly people, more structured people. That is a positive way that we can have diversity in the world. But in terms of this, it's very easy to see the fruits of a society that is very promiscuous, when they have very low birth rates, and when they have high rates of disease and single mothers and
That's
the
not
products
always
of
the
single
case.
mothers.
These are extremes, what you're saying right now.
But this happens. This happens. It happens right here in America. You look at the African American community, for example. 75% of kids are born out of wedlock and are in single mother households. And then if you look at the statistics of kids who go to single mother households, they're 20 times more likely to end up being criminals, much more likely to end up being on drugs because they don't have a father in the home. This is all borne out by statistics. So
I
this
can't
is why
talk
we
about this side of the world. I don't know how
What if
things
I-
are being
what if I-
planned here, but
what if
I
I
think in Europe I can say that this works pretty well for us. So
What
and I
does?
can't see it like
What works
if
well?
you want to say it like vulgarly is the promiscuous.
It works well in Europe.
Yeah, it's super. It's actually really nice because it makes dating so much easier. Everyone's more relaxed, open-minded.
Yeah.
Wait,
less
it makes it
drama.
easier.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cultural decadence in Europe for sure. You guys have a birth rate in countries like Holland that's falling off a cliff. You guys are going to be replaced because you're not pair bonding over there.
Probably, but times are changing. There's nothing
No,
bad
actually, times
about
are changing.
it.
It's going in a really bad direction. Like the native population of Holland in 100, 200 years will be replaced by Muslims.
And why is that a problem?
Well, don't you have any national identity? Don't you have any pride in who you guys are?
Well, I can only speak for myself, and I think that a lot of countries change, a lot of cultures change.
This woman is horrible.
So
wouldn't
if
you-
it happens because of certain things that we do, then it happens.
So you'd be happy for Dutch people to just fade out of existence?
No, of course not.
But what if it happened though?
What if the Dutch people disappeared? I would
Yeah.
be very sad.
Well, it kind of contradicts a little bit what you said before. Let me ask you a question related
It
to what
won't be
Jake
in
is
my
saying.
lifetime.
Do you think so? Like Japan is, although this might be changing, Japan is a country that's pretty well known for
Homogeneity?
Yeah, homogeneity, and they don't want a lot of immigration, I believe. Although maybe it's
Well,
changing a little bit.
it's changing a little bit because their birth rates are so low. It's actually below 1 now. in
But
these places.
I guess my question for you is, would you think that there is anything wrong if Japanese people wanted Japan to remain Japanese? Like me and Jake, we could move to Japan. We can never become Japanese, right?
Yeah.
So do you think there's anything wrong with a country saying, hey, we want our country to remain our, is it race or ethnicity, or I don't know the specific terminology. Me personally, I can't actually think of any argument that in terms of objecting to Japan wishing to stay Japanese.
Sure.
Do you think that's wrong though?
No, I honestly do not care about it. I don't have a say in it, so it is what it is.
Okay. By the way, I'm looking here on Twitch. We have Burmese Mountain Tiger who's watching. Burmese Mountain Tiger, can you write a message in the Twitch chat because you're a longtime supporter? Maybe you're just, it's in the background. Maybe you stepped away to, do a line of cocaine. I don't know what it is. Can you just write in the chat? I want to see if you're active in the chat, Burmese Mountain Tiger.
Hail and well met. LOL Paladins donated $200.02. Jake, you can't force a love of nation onto a women. Women have a biological imperative to breed with stronger men. European men are weak cooks. She would enjoy being forced to wear the burqa.
I think that a lot of European men are weak cucks. I think that's very true.
And that's the thing. It's so wild because I think if you would ask Europeans, they would say the same thing about you. And I think it's really bad. I think there has to be some type of understanding, but it's so far apart. I don't think we'll ever.
I think that
understand
if
each
you
other.
want to have a coherent worldview about that, and when you want to think about the bigger picture and what's best, you have to be able to explain why you think what you think and why it's okay, and why it's okay to just go with what we want and what we desire and what makes us feel nice all the time. Do you know what I mean? And I think that
I don't explain it right.
No, I think you don't. You just don't really know why you believe that. I think it just feels nice. That's basically what you say. It feels good.
It doesn't feel
Makes
good.
me-
We need to mix. You can't have one without the other.
Why not,
That's
though?
my
You
reason.
haven't made a
Because it doesn't work.
What doesn't work?
What doesn't work? Do you think that society didn't function well when people were creating families and getting
Yeah, and there will
married
be
young?
people creating families, but there will also be single people that look for other single people.
But you're saying that it won't work. You have to justify that claim. Why won't it work?
I don't know how else to explain it than that there has to be a mix.
Wait, a mix of what?
Promiscuity and like family structure.
Yeah, different people with different views.
Oh, I thought you meant mix in terms of culture.
No. That's
Groups of people.
No. That's well, we got to that because I said that their birth rate is falling off a cliff
Right.
with native Dutch people, and they're actually going to get replaced in a few hundred years, and your country will be Muslim eventually. And she was like, "Oh, I don't really see the problem with that," and that's where you came in with Japan.
Okay.
That was a kind of meta conversation. But, yeah. I just don't really like. This is a very new thing. All of this cultural decadence that we're experiencing in the West at the moment, where people are just very liberal about, oh, we can do what we want, we can just have all of this sex, and we can not pair bond, and we're seeing the fruits of that, and it's not good. It's not good at all. The birth rates are literally falling off a cliff, and that's a big problem. And women are getting older and older, and they're not marrying, and they're becoming depressed about it. Like in America, and I think throughout the Western world as well, the amount of antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications that women are taking is obscene. And
But that doesn't have to do anything.
it actually does, because you can correlate it. You can correlate women who are single and childless in their 40s with antidepressants.
What's the rate for men?
Much lower than women.
What are the statistics?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm sure we could look it up. Yeah. But I mean, I think that generally speaking, a man can go his whole life just focusing on a career and be reasonably satisfied. It's not optimal, obviously, but if a woman does that, I think that it's a recipe for a disaster. Just the way that we're biologically wired. Only 40% of men that have ever lived have reproduced. So
RIP's in the chat. Do you want to respond to his point, or?
Oh no, I thought you. No, sorry, I thought
you
you
thought that
mumbled
was-
something. So okay. No, I can't explain it any better than what I already said.
Okay.
Maybe I can't bring it across the way I want it, but to me it makes a lot of sense.
But essentially your position is promiscuity is good.
and needed.
Is that
It's
correct?
needed.
It's
but
needed?
Not
For what?
promiscuity
No, but what
per
is it?
se,
This is what I
but
was trying to
different
draw
types
out,
of
yeah.
people with different types of views are needed. Yes.
But okay, so even if we grant that different types of people with different types of views are needed, what does that okay, how is promiscuity needed? What's
Well, that's kind
purpose?
of how we started the
No,
conversation.
but, yeah, but what? Okay, so what purpose does it serve?
What purpose does it serve? So people can just be their own, and if they want to be more vulgar, then they can. Not
People
everybody
can-
wants to
people
marry
can
and
be-
get locked down.
Can just be sort of at the whim of their desire. They can do what feels nice.
How do you mean?
That people can just follow their desires. They can just do what feels good. And
If that's a priority for them, yeah.
do you think that that's a positive thing, though, to always be attached to your desire rather than your duties and responsibilities?
If it's not me, but I think for a lot of people, if that's what they want to do and that's what makes them happy and not hurting anyone else, is great.
But what if you are hurting other people? What if the society as a whole, like the bigger picture that I just painted,
Well-
is affected by all of this?
Not all women want to be
Decadence.
breeding machines and get married, you know.
What do you mean by a breeding machine?
Like, they don't want to reproduce.
What makes them a breeding machine if they reproduce? It's the primary function of a woman.
Yeah, well, you don't have to.
I'm not saying that you have to. I mean, you can unfortunately not do that if you'd really like to. But it doesn't make you a breeding machine. It just makes you a mother. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. It is, yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't call
Well,
a
your
woman who has children a
standards.
breeding machine.
No, it's fair. Yeah, maybe I worded it differently.
Yeah, but I think kind of a subconscious thing that comes out sometimes, because this is the messaging that young women are fed these days, is that if you actually view motherhood and being a wife and having a family as something that's aspirational in itself, then you're subjecting yourself to a lower form of purpose. But I don't see that at all. If you have children, and if you're a woman who has children, 3, 4, 5 children, and you send them out into the world and they're good people, it's like the ultimate responsibility. It's difficult to raise good kids, you know?
And what if you don't want to have kids then? Like, how is that in your
I'd say
perspective?
that that's just a selfish thing to do. I think that we have duties as people. One of those duties is to replace our lineage. It's a selfish, materialistic thing to do.
So you really think that it's bad if you don't want to reproduce?
100%. Yeah, you have duties. It's not all about what feels nice in life.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like for example, your country is a perfect example. You guys are getting replaced. And if you guys don't have some white babies,
What the fuck?
then you're going to be replaced.
There are quite a lot of people in the Netherlands who do have families and go for all of that.
But it's going like this, though. If you have mass immigration of people from the Middle East and Africa, which is happening in Netherlands at the moment, and they all breed at a much higher rate than you, 3, 4 kids per woman, and the Netherlands has a birth rate of like 1.2, then what's going to happen is that you're eventually going to be replaced. And the Dutch people aren't going to exist anymore. It's going to be
No, they probably won't.
an offshoot of the Middle East. Doesn't that concern you at all?
No, there's a lot of countries who won't exist anymore in thousands of years. We won't exist anymore in thousands of years.
Like country like Holland, it's like one of the best countries in the world. You guys have the best farmers in the world. One of the most like the ingenuity in Holland is amazing. You guys build those dikes to keep the water out. Like you guys are one of the most productive farmers in the whole world. That's not going to remain, especially if your government keeps trying to restrict the farmers. But don't you think that's a problem? Don't you think Holland is good? Dutch people should stay around?
Yeah, Dutch people are awesome. I think, from my perspective, being around Dutch people are awesome. But still, I stand by what I just said, that I think that lots of different people with different views are still needed. And if that eventually leads to one country dying out, I mean, it's going to happen eventually anyway. But then again, I'm a nihilist, so.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
You're going to go out,
Okay,
you're going to go out with a whimper.
Nice.
Pleasure.
I mean, maybe, so you don't want to have kids then? Is that,
Sorry?
you don't want to have kids?
Right now, absolutely not.
Sure.
I mean, eventually, maybe. I don't know.
So,
It's not something I think about.
but let's say, but eventually.
Hail and well met.
Okay.
Lol Paladins donated $200.02.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
And
it.
there it is. You think the Nazis lost? Nope. Here she is right in the studio. A woman who would be happy if humans stopped existing. Should we just go march into the gas chambers to speed it up?
Thank you, Law Paladins.
Damn, that's extreme.
Your response?
My response, I love paladins, but also that's very extreme. Like that's not at all what I meant to say, and if it comes across like that,
No,
then
he's
that's really bad.
being facetious, but he's making a good point, which is that
Old Man Marine donated $100. Is addiction or gluttony needed? Should we not try to civilize ourselves? We are devolving into animalistic desires because we harp on our rights and not duty.
Hey, Old Man Marine, thank you, man. Really appreciate it.
yeah. So Lol Paladins was actually making a good point, which was just to say that why don't we just march ourselves into the gas chambers already? What's the point? I mean, you did say that you're a nihilist, but yeah, it's probably in accordance with your way of thinking. Why don't we just die?
But
I'd like to actually have that answered. Why don't we just die?
Because we don't. I mean, it's a bit common sense. That's not what I was trying to say, right?
Yeah,
we
but
all
like-
make the best of it. And some people want to have families and they want to have 10 kids, fine. Some people don't. They just want to sleep with everyone, which is also fine. I think we should respect both parties. And if eventually that leads to problems in the country, like we deal with it then. Humans have always adjusted to any situation. That's how we sit here right now.
But
it's
do we have to respect them?
respect who?
What, Jake, maybe you know this term, something about tolerance. If you tolerate everything,
If you tolerate everything, you stand for nothing.
I think there's some specific term for it. I can't. Maybe the chat will know. Chat, something about like the intolerance of tolerance or the tolerating tolerance. I don't know exactly what it is. It's not clear to me though if everyone's deserving of respect in certain conduct. Like I think most. Like, do you think hookup culture is good?
Do I think hookup culture is good?
Yes.
Hookup culture, as in people just sleeping around.
Yeah.
here.
So essentially promiscuity. Is it good?
Is it good? I mean, for the teenagers, I guess.
Well, I don't even know if it's good for the teenagers. There's a difference between should people be allowed to do something and is it good?
It doesn't have to be good or bad. I think everyone should make the decision for themselves.
So like as a society, right, I can't imagine the United States is ever going to, for example, criminalize having a casual sexual encounter. But as a society, we can still say this is undesirable conduct. We should try to move away from it. We shouldn't do it. And there should be social shame. So you said these people still deserve respect. Do they though? Because if we're not going to criminalize something, the only way that we can enforce like certain social values is through social shame. It's shameful to conduct yourself this way. So it's not deserving of respect. If you're a person, whether male or female, and you go out and you sleep with 10 new people a month, I think that this is worthy of social shame.
So it comes from a point of
Or to
keeping
put,
something safe.
what do you
from
mean,
your,
keeping something safe?
Yeah, you're trying to keep.
Preserve something.
Yeah, maybe that's the right word to say it.
Well, you said respect.
Yeah.
I don't think
fuck? Where the
nobody's
hell's
owed,
McGlatt?
like, respect is earned, right? So this idea that we need to respect people and their beliefs, I kind of disagree. I don't
also
think they
interesting. I think
they
you
are
should
owed
respect
respect.
everyone.
No, I don't think you should respect everyone. I think you should comport yourself in a respectable manner, and it doesn't mean you need to necessarily insult somebody. But this idea that we need to respect all beliefs, I think is erroneous. I think there should be. In instances where there's no conceivable way that a law can be passed to police people's conduct, there needs to be social and societal and cultural shame that exists to prevent undesirable conduct in a society.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense with where you're coming from.
It's very doable as well because we've done the reverse. Since feminism has really come into the frame in Western society, there's been a mass propaganda campaign to indoctrinate young women into this liberal way of thinking, and the reverse is actually possible as well. It just matters about what kind of propaganda is put out there. So it's very doable.
Interesting. All right. I'm just glad I don't live here. I'm very happy.
Well, I mean, it's degenerate in the United States too.
I would do really bad here.
I actually think the United States is more degenerate than
Oh, I don't know about where they're from.
the
It's pretty bad.
Netherlands. I've been to the Netherlands 3 times. I mean, I feel like in Europe, obviously each country is different. I actually think in Europe, promiscuity is not nearly as bad as it is in the United States.
I think that Europe in general, it's not, but you're taking into account Eastern Europe and places like Russia and Ukraine and Hungary and more traditional, and then you're also taking into account Turkey, which is a bit more traditional as well. But where they're from in Western Europe, it's like very, very degenerate. A place like Germany, have you ever heard of the Berghain?
I think
Yes,
What's
love
that?
Bergheim.
it's a lot more less black and white, a lot more nuanced, I think, because I am together with my boyfriend for 4 years and we're thinking about next steps, and we have a lot of friends around
Jake-
us getting children and growing their family. So that's also in the Netherlands.
Well,
and then
I
there's
don't think-
also a very free scene. Sorry.
No, I know you're giving your own anecdotal experience. I don't think Jake is certainly not saying all the women in these countries or all the people in these countries, they're all degenerate. Obviously, there's people that conduct themselves in a different way. But I mean, to
We
Jake's
think they're
point,
very liberal, yeah.
even the Western European countries, I don't think they're as degen and as promiscuous as American women.
I don't know.
I think American women are probably I'm trying to think.
No,
which one.
UK is the worst.
Yeah, England.
England?
The UK is the worst. UK is the worst, and then I'd say probably countries like Germany and Netherlands are pretty bad. But
I think
the
German
only-
women are pretty, like, you compare a German woman to an American woman.
The only reason I say that though is because America is still a very Christian country, and in the more rural places, you do get like these places are very Christian. When you get to the cities like at Los Angeles and New York and Miami and places like this, they're probably the most degenerate places in the world.
Oh,
America still has that Christian core, which I think is like holding the ship up.
Is it the majority though? I feel like
Yeah, I don't
the lib agnostic
Motherfucker.
is the majority now in the United States. But I mean, I think like you look at your average German woman versus your average American woman. I'm pretty sure the average American woman is more promiscuous than the average German woman.
Dude, if you go to Berlin, honestly, it's terrible.
I feel like European women, and that's obviously very broad in general, seem to conduct themselves a bit more uprightly than their American counterparts.
I think they're more
England,
they're smarter.
I don't know
They're
about
smarter.
England. You're probably right about England. They're probably slags or whatever they call them. But
Man, you go out for a night out in Liverpool or Manchester. and it's
England's
horrendous.
fucked. But like
Yeah.
continental Europe, I'm pretty sure like continental European women. Scandinavia's kind of fucked. Hold on, let me think about this.
Look, it's very
Why are
feminist
you
over
so
there.
negative about
About what?
that people are a bit more free? It can also
Free.
be.
Are you free or are you slave?
What? What?
That was some
No, I
deep,
think-
that was some fucking 5th grade like tweet, fucking Jaden Smith tweet shit. But it's like
Perfect question.
But it's. I think it's nice that people are free to experience.
You
and
mean a slave to your base primal animal urges?
It depends what you mean by free, though.
Well, there's less shame if you want to experiment or go to Bergenheim. I've never been, but I've heard stories.
Just for those who don't know, the Berghain is this club in Berlin where people go and you're not allowed to have your phones on you or anything like that. And everyone's dressed up really freaky and they're all having sex in the different rooms. And there's a guy who's famous for getting his mouth peed in there.
What the-
He hangs out. I've never been here, by the way.
What?
He hangs out in the toilet and he puts his face under and people pee in his mouth. This is a real guy. Like, and this is what they do. But this is the logical conclusion of being free, of people being able to explore whatever they want to do. You end up,
But it's one guy, you said.
Yeah.
One guy.
dog,
That's-
you know.
I never heard that story. Interesting. No, I don't know. I think it's good that people can experiment.
Revive the Patriarchy donated $100. The reason depression and anxiety is high in the West is due to lack of purpose and discipline. The West is committed to self-destructive hedonism and self-shame. Face the mirror and accountability.
Revive the patriarchy. Great name, man. Really appreciate the message.
But that's the thing. There is also purpose and discipline, because once you go for a relationship, then you can have the commitment that you want.
Yeah, but it's kind of a risk, isn't it? Because if you go until you're sort of late 20s, early 30s, and you do what you want, you're free, you're much less likely to pair bond when you're in your 30s. And you're much less likely to have kids as well. And if you do have kids after 35 or whatever, they're much more likely to have conditions as well. So there's a lot of risk involved. So you can say that it's good and it might be fun. I'll be the first to admit that it can be fun. But is it right? Is it what's best for society? That's the question. For people to be free. And also, what is freedom? What does that even mean? What do you think freedom means?
Free to suck a dick.
I'm curious what you mean by freedom. Do you think that people actually want to be free?
Well, I don't know. I was just listening to the whole story, and I think it's you were talking about shaming people and body counts and stuff like that. And personally, I think, of course, it matters. I don't think I would date a guy that has a body count over 100 or 50. But if other people don't have a problem with that, why would you shame them for it? Like, we have to look at ourselves and what we want. And if I want someone with a low body count, then I look for someone with a low body count. And if she enjoys life and has a high body count and doesn't see a problem, then why would we shame her for that?
Well, because we have to live in the same society as people, and we have to create a societal standard. And it does affect us.
People are different.
I understand that, but I think that people are also reasonably malleable in the way that we conduct ourselves. For example, in America, they've got this big thing where you have these transgender people who are reading kids' stories in schools. And there's all this indoctrination into this sexual ideology happening in schools in America. That's the logical conclusion of freedom. Because if you believe in freedom over anything, then why is that wrong? You can't really make a case for why that's wrong. But if you believe in that that's something that should be, do you believe that that's something that should be stigmatized and shamed?
There should be a rule set in place for that.
Yeah. Why?
I think personally.
But why?
Because TOS, you shouldn't mix children with certain things.
Why not?
Well, there's many reasons why you shouldn't do that. It's not good for their brains, first of all.
But you're a nihilist, though, so like, why? I'm not going to get deep into the philosophy with you.
Thinking about the future, I mean, the kids are the future, right? So you can't brainwash them from a young age. But that's a whole different topic. Like, I don't really know what the deal is. Like,
What
I've
if
seen
they
it on
want to?
TV.
What if they want to read it?
What if the storyteller wants to read it?
What if the kids want to read it?
The kids want to read it. I just think they should ask their parents first.
Yeah. And what if their parents say, that's fine, you can go read that book about oral sex, my 11-year-old? Should that be okay?
No, they should be like maybe 14 or something.
So then you're saying at least there should be some sort of shame and stigma attached
There should be some
to
rules.
sexuality.
Some rules set in
Right.
place, especially when it comes to children.
Do you think
They
that
need to
maybe
be
that's
protected.
because we don't want the next generation of children who are going to go out into the workforce and going to have families, etc., because we don't want them to be degenerates?
Well, you call it degenerate. It sounds so negative. I just view it as people with different priorities, standpoints, lifestyles.
Do you think-
There's no good or bad in
Do you think that it's bad to be a serial killer?
Well, that's common sense.
Why?
Because
You
you're
said there's
hurting
no
other
good or bad.
people.
You said there's no good or bad.
But you're hurting other people. So
Do you-
obviously
do you
there's
think it's okay?
exceptions.
But don't you think that if you're one of these people who's reading books to kids, you're also hurting other people?
No, that depends. Because then it's about the parents and the child, right? So what they decide to do is best, then they should follow that.
But what if it hurts the child?
Well, I hope it won't hurt the child. I don't know what they're doing, but reading a book
What
to
if you
a
could,
child
you could
where-
quantify it pretty easily and say that children shouldn't be exposed to overly sexual material and that it does hurt children?
No, it depends on how young they are. I mean, they do get like sex education here in America as well, right?
But this is not sexual education. This is like sexual indoctrination of kids. And it's happening on a pretty broad scale over here. But I think to get to the meat and potatoes of it, it's to say that some things should be shamed in society. And it just matters where you draw that line. And what we're saying is that the line should be drawn way before where it is at the moment. And what you're saying is that people should be able to be free to do whatever they want.
Our lanes are way off.
But what you're saying
100%.
is that you don't, if I'm not hurting anybody else, but you are hurting other people because you have to live in the same society as people. And then my kids have to go to the same school as your kids. And I have to see you guys around. And then my kids have to watch these gay pride parades happening in the middle of the street with these naked men with their penises out dancing in front of them. That affects me. And that's the consequence of liberalism and of this freedom that you guys talk about. And perhaps you haven't thought about the logical conclusion of it because in your life you don't do anything. I mean, OnlyFans, it's pretty heinous, but you know, perhaps you haven't thought about the logical conclusion of it, but it does affect other people who you live in the society with.
I would disagree because like Amsterdam is obviously known for the most amazing gay pride, and we bring children there, but it's a different type of introduction.
Revive the Patriarchy donated $100.01. There is no discipline in the West.
it's
It is
grid
beaten
one.
out of our children as during Drag Queen Story Hour. Discipline is doing what you hate but doing it like you love it, Mike Tyson.
I believe that's Grid 1 Motorsports, Revive the Patriarchy. Hey, dude, thank you. Good to see you in the chat, man. Thank you for the message. I do got to move things on a little bit here, but that was an interesting little convo. I did want to get into more of the pre-show notes here from you. So you said you met a guy on Tinder and you let him tattoo your booty on the first date. So like what, I'm curious, like what happened there? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
When did it happen? I think it was like 7 years ago or something. It was just, I'm very spontaneous, so I had this idea in mind. And yeah, it was fun. It was just fun
What was the
activity.
tattoo?
Stay wild.
Stay wild? Did you guys have sex afterwards or before?
Maybe both.
Okay. And you said, he was not a tattoo artist.
No.
And he did the tattoo.
Yeah.
Did it come out good?
Well, it's not an art piece, but I do love it because of the story behind it, and it suits me, and I think it's kind of cute. So I'm still happy with it. Yeah.
Okay. You said you moved countries to be with a guy you met on Tinder, but unfortunately it didn't work out. And
Yeah,
now
that's the
you're
guy. That's the
stuck
tattoo
in
guy.
That country? Oh, Norway?
Yeah.
Oh, so these are like older notes then, because you're not stuck there anymore.
No, well, I moved 2 weeks ago, so
Okay, but so you moved to wait. So the tattoo guy, you met him on Tinder.
yeah. He was on holiday in the Netherlands.
Base Taste donated $100.
Hey, thank
Long
you.
time viewer, but only occasional. 4+ hours is long. God bless you all and may you all find him if you haven't. May Mason recover fully. Brian, go on more IRL stream walks. Lose the dumpy tongue.
We gotta do some more IRL streams, man. I gotta walk around some more. Yo, Base Days, thank you for the TTS, man. So you met this guy on Tinder. You let him tattoo you on the first date, your booty, and it was a Stay Wild tattoo. So how long did you date him or whatever? Because you said it didn't work out.
Yeah, like 3 years.
Oh, you did him for 3 years.
Yeah.
But then you were stuck in Norway.
Yeah.
I see. Like you're in the basement or something?
What?
Like you were tied up in the basement?
What? No, it didn't work out. We just split up, and he moved to Singapore, and I was in Norway, and I was like, what do I want to do? Do I not want to stay?
Was he a passport bro?
A what?
You said he went to Singapore, so maybe he was trying to get some.
He went there for work.
Oh, okay. You said you were in an abusive relationship for 6 years with a guy you met on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Abusive?
Yeah. It sucked. I don't want to say too much
How
about
soon
it.
into the relationship did he allegedly abuse you?
It was, I think, like a year in. It went really slow. And my friends and family tried to warn me then, but it was all sugar-coated with, no, just want to try to keep you safe. So I was like, oh, he loves me so much. This is amazing.
How was he abusive?
I don't want to talk about that.
Can you say,
No.
was it physical, emotional
Yes.
abuse? But all of the above?
Yeah.
Why didn't you leave?
That's a very good question, and I think you would never understand unless you're in a situation like that. But they take over your life, and you're stuck, and you're not allowed to leave. So it's very
So you were
brainwashy.
Trapped in the basement, or?
No, well, we lived together for a long time.
I just don't, like, I understand that it's hard to leave a partner. I get that. But I just don't understand this whole, like, they make it impossible to leave. Like, I just don't really understand that whole thing. Maybe somebody can explain it to me.
Yeah. So let's say we live together, right? But I'm abusive towards you,
Yeah.
and you say, yeah, I don't want this anymore. I want you to leave, or I want to leave. But we like got the apartment together, and you have nowhere else to go. And I say, no, you can't leave. And I lock the door. What are you gonna do? Jump out of the window? Where are you gonna go? Sleep on the streets?
So that's what he did then?
Yeah.
So you're saying you were essentially kidnapped, or?
I don't want to call it that.
So he never left the house?
Yeah, he did. But where
And did he hammer the door with
No, but-
wood so you couldn't open the
No,
door?
I went out.
So
I
you
went
could leave?
grocery shopping and all that stuff. It was not like I was stuck in a house.
Okay, so he didn't prevent you from leaving?
No. Well, at times.
Okay. You mean like you
You
guys?
can physically leave, but you can't mentally leave. He won't let you.
Well, you're not dating him anymore, so he let you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that, but it got really dangerous. Yeah.
All right, I mean, that's fair enough. I'm a little confused by these stories, though, where it's like, well, the abuse started, you said it started 1 year in, and you stayed with him for 6 years.
It's very hard to understand. Like before this happened to me, I was also like, you can't just leave. What's the problem? Just walk out the door. But it's different once you're brainwashed and you're in it.
I mean, doesn't this take away some accountability from you? Like, I was brainwashed. There's nothing I could do. I was abusive, or he was abusive. I mean,
What do you mean?
you're putting all the blame on him. But again, I'll even grant or acknowledge that there are situations that are more difficult to exit than others. But it's like, you were allowed, like I've heard stories of women where they're like, they weren't even allowed to leave the house. But you said you could go shopping, he would leave. Like, obviously there's degrees to abuse, but like the way you're painting it is like, he would always stay at the house and I can never go out, and he boarded
Oh,
up
no.
the doors.
It was not like that. No.
Okay.
It's not like physically you're not allowed to leave, but you're not allowed to leave the relationship. Maybe that's a better way to put it.
So how did you, you're probably just gonna say I can't answer it, but how did you leave the relationship? Did you just break up with him?
I'm not gonna answer that.
It's just confusing. It's like, okay,
Hail and well met. Lol Paladins donated $100.02. Nah, I called it. She wants a man to control her life. She'd be proud to have the Dutch men be replaced with Muslims. She wants to wear the burqa.
yo, Lil Paladins, thank you, man, appreciate it. Anyways, look, I'm not gonna try to dig too deep here, but you said you guys lived together and you had a lease together. I can acknowledge that, yeah, there's gonna be some financial ramifications if you like break your lease, but you could just break the lease? Like, is that what was keeping you there because you had a lease? People break leases all the time.
Okay, you break the lease, and then where are you gonna go?
Aren't you a boss babe career woman? Were you making your own money? Were you
I
working?
was 17.
Was family in the picture?
Not for this situation, no.
Were your parents still together at the time?
No.
Were you previously living with your parents?
Yes.
Well, so there's some accountability here. You opted to move out of your parents' house at 17. Did he force you to move in with him?
No, it was great before we moved in. But I don't really want to talk about this
All right,
situation. There's no use
I'll
to it. There's
respect
no,
it, but-
yeah.
Okay, all right. You said you were involved in the BDSM scene and that you've heard crazy stories like slaves running through the forest and men trying to catch them. I'm not going to talk about that other part, but okay, that's all right. You were on a dating show on Dutch television where they put you together with a random guy in the house. Big Brother vibes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still get messages from that to this day. It was great. We played World of Warcraft together. Great vibe, but not the right person.
You said that you broke up with your high school boyfriend on Valentine's Day because he said you were playing too much World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
When was this? 2001?
I don't know how old I was.
2009? 2010?
I don't know.
Well, you're 31, so...
I was way young. Obviously, I wouldn't do that to this day, but
So
it's
it's
just
probably like TBC or...
No,
or, Wrath, maybe?
classic TBC, yeah.
It's probably TBC. Burning Crusade. You said you had sex with a game master to get a higher ranking in...
Yeah, that's
Which
a really
game?
fucked up story.
game?
I won't say.
Why not?
No, because I don't want to, how do you say?
How long ago was it? 10 years ago?
It was a long time ago, but
What game was it? How
no,
the-
I'm not going to
nobody-
tell. And it's
nobody's
very
gonna know.
Monga TOS because I was underage at that time. It was a TBC era.
Oh, wait, so it was World of Warcraft.
Just to give you an idea of how old I was.
Like Arena? Like PvP? Arena?
I won't say.
Well, I mean, that would be the
I don't
only
wanna
way you could-
spoil.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was crazy. At that
So
time,
you-
I thought it was really cool, but now I realize I should have gone to the police instead.
Oh, he was like older? Yikes. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's probably not...
Not the right topic.
You had sex for a... removing like the whole age thing or whatever. You had sex so that you could get like a rank in World of Warcraft. Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Did he give you some gold too?
So long ago, I don't remember.
Did he give you some gold? Did he give you Martin Fury?
No, I didn't get anything crazy like that. It was something really stupid, but
Okay.
I felt amazing. I was like, wow, this is great. I can achieve things like this.
Yeah.
It was a really fucked up situation, yeah.
You said you also have strong feelings about marriage, so I assume you're like not in favor of marriage.
I am anti-marriage, yes.
Okay, no objections from me. You think OnlyFans creators get too much hate? You're on OnlyFans too, and I want to stick up for them.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. We already kind of talked about sex work bad. I don't know if there's much else there.
Yeah.
What do you think about? What do you think about like the OnlyFans girls who have typers and chatters? Do you think that's justified hate?
Who have what? Typer? What?
Chatter, typer?
What is that?
You don't know about this?
Bots?
Yeah, like AI, or like they either use like AI software or they hire people to talk
Into
to
the
their
mic.
fans.
Into the mic. Into the
Sorry,
mic.
they either get an AI software to talk to the fans so that they don't have to, or they hire people to do it for them instead of actually personally interacting.
Oh, yeah. Like on OnlyFans we're talking, right? So
Yeah.
you're not actually talking to the real person. Yeah, that's scammy.
Wait, was the guy a YouTuber? Just curious. The guy, the 6-year guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never dating someone from YouTube again.
Okay. Let's see. We have Viev. How do you say that?
Viv.
You have your master's in anthropology. That's
Yeah.
cool. You consider yourself liberal politically. And you say you consider yourself a combination of feminist and traditional. You like equity over equality. What is... So, I mean, two separate things there. When you say you're a combination of feminist and traditional, what does that mean?
I think some feminists go really far in the whole equal, being equal, like having exactly the same role. But I do think that feminist is about respecting each other and feeling that people are worth the same. And I believe that women should not have to be questioned for being in an office room and have to explain why they're there, even though a man walks in and that's all right. But at the same time, I think men should be able to show their emotions and be not frowned upon when they do. So I just think people should be more together.
Do you need to be a feminist to...
And that's how I thought the definition from feminist is, to believe that one is not above the other. But I do think that it's more about equity, where we have different roles, because biological men and women are different, but respect-wise, not one is above the other.
That's interesting.
And relationships should be a partnership.
Well, let's go around the table on this. Do you consider yourself a feminist?
I guess so. It's like loving women, respecting our rights. Is it all about equality though? Like being a feminist, I thought it was just like supporting women.
So I'll just give this definition. So feminism is, I suppose, pursuit of equality with a rejection of patriarchy.
A rejection of patriarchy?
Rejection of
That's
patriarchy.
the definition? To
Yeah.
reject patriarchy?
Well, I mean, look, there's different definitions of feminism. I don't. My definition of feminism is it's at best, a woman's advocacy movement. At worst, and what it actually is a man-hating ideology intended to divide the sexes and destroy the nuclear family.
And
But
that
that's
is
my
the
def-
feminism I didn't like. That's why I said combined with the traditionality.
Yeah, I feel like it depends on what your definition of feminist is. I would say I support all women, and I think we should have equal rights, but I don't think we should destroy the patriarchy.
Okay. Do you consider yourself a feminist?
I don't know, not really.
No. So you're in favor of the patriarchy?
I don't really have an opinion about this topic, honestly.
You no opinion on the
Not
patriarchy?
really. No, not really.
What about you?
No.
Not a feminist?
No.
Ruby, feminist?
I would say no, only because I'm not that educated on it. I'm actually taking a feminism
Phenomena?
class this fall.
Uh-oh.
But
You should
yeah.
drop-
Get out of
don't,
it.
don't take
Get
it.
out
Don't
of
take
it.
Get out.
You'll never be
Get
the
out.
same. Don't do it.
Your hair will be purple and you'll,
Oh wow.
yeah. So
But as of right now, no.
what's the name of the class?
It's just feminist studies.
Oh, I'd
Like
love,
101?
I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
Honestly, I forgot. I don't know.
Okay, all right. What about you?
Listen,
No.
I reject feminism in all of its forms.
Why dog?
I think it just depends on different definitions of it for me. So it's like yes and no in
Okay,
different ways.
sure. So, feminism, traditional feminism. What's the traditional components that you believe in? Like,
Partnership. So
what? How does
I
that
think
look
that
like?
feminism, in my opinion, is where women want to go above men and where they shout and hate on men and where men do things bad. I think it should be a partnership. Men and women are equal.
Well, let me ask you a couple questions. Do you think that historically women were disadvantaged in comparison to men?
Yeah, in some ways, definitely.
Whose fault was that?
Um,
Was it men?
what time are we talking about
How about,
historically?
are women disadvantaged today?
Today,
Still?
in some ways, yes.
Yeah, and then so who's doing it? Is it men?
Yeah, but also women themselves. I think we're having this culture of pressure on us, which can be oppressing.
A culture of pressure.
Of,
What do you
of
mean?
rule sets, of things that should go in a certain way.
Such as?
Like a career is something the man does, that women can't. I don't know. Now that you put me on the spot, I find it very difficult to think of examples.
Well, I mean, that's just the notes that you provided. Well, okay, how about this? Do you think that there's a patriarchy in society?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of men that lead to households, lead to politics, but there's also room for women, and I think that's nice. There's also companies that try to look more for a 60-40 split with men and women.
Do you think women are oppressed?
Some women are. I don't feel oppressed.
You don't feel oppressed. Are some women oppressed? What do you mean, like in different countries, or?
Yeah, I think also, for example, in the Netherlands, there are women that are oppressed on the with, for example, making career. They don't get the same chances as men do. But at the same time, like I mentioned, the whole emotion for men are oppressed in that way because they have to tough it up and they have to be strong and cannot share that. And I think it's nicer if that can both grow to each other.
Well, one of the things I've heard feminists say is that women were or are still oppressed, and it's men's fault. Don't you think this is kind of pitting women against men?
Yeah, that's what I said. I don't like what the term feminism is becoming because it's about hating men.
Hold on, what do you mean by becoming?
Well, I mean, how I learned the word feminist when I was like 15 in high school was about equality and partnership and about equity and respecting each other and having room for people the way they are. So
Did they talk about how women were oppressed, even when you were younger in school?
they were talking about that women don't get the same chances and they were working towards that.
But did they say that women were oppressed?
I don't think they used those words. It was
Okay.
more about the chances that people get.
Because I mean, patriarchy theory, women as oppressed, men as oppressors, is like mainstream feminist theory for pretty much the entirety of feminism, which I think is objectionable, historically inaccurate, and it pits women against men.
And that I don't like.
And it's a total mischaracterization of the relationship between men and women currently and throughout history. But it also essentially just teaches women to be man-haters and to have contempt for men. Because if it is true, let's say it is true that men are oppressors. If men are the oppressor class and women are the oppressed class, it teaches women that men are terrible innately.
But that's the bad side of feminism.
That is feminism.
I have learned feminism is about equal rights. And that means that
Is it?
but maybe,
You're natively Dutch, right?
yeah.
Is there military conscription in the Netherlands?
Sorry?
Military conscription? I'm assuming there is.
That they have to serve, or what?
Is there military conscription?
I don't know the word conscription.
Forced, the draft?
No, you don't have to go
conscription
into the military
as a woman.
at all. There is now a 1-year dienstjaar where you can go and get paid for a year to do that, but it's not enforced. And that's
Actually,
for men and
I
women.
just want to be fair here. Apparently in 2020, conscription in the Netherlands was changed to include women. Apparently. So they have equalized this in the Netherlands. So this is perhaps not the best example, but fucking Netherlands.
But I'm not a man hater at all.
Okay.
So if that's the definition of feminist here, that women should be above men or should hate men, that's completely not what I stand behind, like, at all. It's just
Okay,
about
fair enough.
equality.
I just don't like the feminist traditional thing. It's just
It clashes.
a little bit, because I think what a lot of women do is they want all the benefits of feminism or equality when it suits them. So that my sense of feminism is you'll only fight for equality, whether it's socially, whether it's legally, if that legal equality or that social equality benefits women. So for example, if there is some form of equality which were to come to the detriment of women in some conceivable way, feminists will not fight for it, even if it were to create greater equality between men and women. So for example, feminists in the United States, they're not in the streets or even advocating in any degree or any capacity to equalize draft registration, military conscription between men and women. Only men are subject to military conscription in the United States. In the vast majority of other countries in the world, only men are subject to forced military conscription, draft, obligatory military service in some countries. I don't know if it's some countries, like the men have to go do military service for a couple years. This is common in various Asian countries. I believe even in Switzerland, for example, I think it's still mandatory that men have to do some sort of civilian service or military service. Women are excluded from having to do this. And there are punishments for men who try to avoid it or who don't. But women don't fight for equality for those sorts of things. They don't fight for equality for like the dangerous jobs that men predominate in. The dangerous, dirty jobs. You want to close the wage gap, but you don't want to close the workplace fatality gap, the workplace injury gap, the more likely to work in the freezing fucking cold gap, the more likely to get electrocuted to death gap, the more likely to work dangerous, disgusting jobs gap. You only want to close the gaps in things that benefit women. You don't want to close the gap in other realms, which is interesting. So you don't really care about equality, you care about securing benefits for women, which I don't suppose is wrong, but to parade feminism as equality is laughable.
Yeah, I think the way feminism right now is being paraded is true. That's we're looking at the gaps where women could win. But yeah, I mean, I still think life is a partnership, and I have a man at home, so I would also fight for his rights. But I'm not very actively fighting at all. But yeah.
Well, I guess moving off of that, you said you like equity over equality. So what does that mean? What's the difference there?
Equality is that you have to do exactly the same things, though equity is looking at where people are having their talents and what they're best at. Because, for example, me and my boyfriend, if we have to move a very heavy stone, he is better equipped for that than I am because of our builds. And I could train to be exactly as strong as he is, but it would cost me a lot more energy to get to that level.
So he should get the bigger piece of chicken.
Oh, he always gets the bigger piece of chicken.
Well, can we just like apply this to society too then? So if men are more productive, should they get paid more than women?
If they do,
Provably paid more, or provably more productive, I mean.
if they're, yeah, if someone is more productive than someone else, they should get paid more.
Well, then, for example, I don't know how it is in the Netherlands, but police officers, firefighters, and people in the military. So women can become police officers, women can become firefighters, women can join the military. But these are jobs that require some degree of physical exertion. Firefighters, a police officer might have to apprehend a suspect, might have to physically arrest him, detain him, whatever. And then military, there's a force application in the military too. Men are, and not only in the actual job, but all these jobs I listed have physical requirements, which would seem to indicate that in the actual job, there are going to be physical requirements, right?
So then the women, if they want to be on the same level, should train more, probably.
But here's the difference for the purposes of equity or equality, we've lowered the physical requirements for women in police force, and this is seen across various countries, in police forces, military, and firefighting, but they get paid the exact same, even though these are physically laborious jobs. So,
also in the corporate world as well, you've got DEI. So women will be DEI hires. They don't meet the same qualifications, but because they're women and they need to fill a quota, they'll get the job more easy.
Don't you see that a lot in like coding and computer engineering jobs? Like they're just like desperate to get oh, we have a woman engineer, and they're like less qualified than their male counterparts. And then males who are more qualified are overlooked in like software engineering and so forth because the woke Silicon Valley and San Francisco companies want to, I don't know, do the DEI bullshit. Okay, I don't know. No pushback?
I guess
no
the point he's making is that you've got DEI and you've got all of these lowered requirements that actually goes against the natural course of things.
No,
if the
I know.
market is just a sort of, if the market was to just play out, men would get paid more, men would be in all these different positions. And also, men are more likely to die at work in all these horrible conditions. Doesn't it seem like women are kind of already winning?
If you say it like that. Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily... I don't know. I like it when there's a partnership. I have that with my partner. I have that with my friends. I see that in my family, and that's what I meant.
Okay. You said men and women are different by nature, and thus complete equality would make no sense. We need to find where people's potential lies and bring that up. Where women or men feel they are stuck with boundaries imposed by others, we should ask questions. For example, that women have to prove themselves why they are in a room, while a man is assumed to be there, like for business, okay. Or the fact that men are not supposed to cry or show emotions. Yeah, but this is kind of something, I mean, the whole crying thing, like this is something that is kind of policed by women. You don't like weak men.
Crying is not weak.
Yeah, it is.
Crying is not weak.
If men cried in the same ways that women cry, you would think it's weak.
I fully disagree.
What about if they cry because they stub their toe? Would that be weak?
Then they have a low pain tolerance, unless it's really
Do you think
bad.
that'd be a hint of weakness about that?
If it's about if it's measured on their pain level, then yeah. But that doesn't say anything about them as a person at
What
all.
about
So
because someone called them fat?
someone called
If
them
someone
fat.
called them fat and they started crying.
Well, that's awful. That's really sad.
So you think that if just an off comment, you're walking with your boyfriend down the street and someone says,
That doesn't make
"Hey,
him
fatty,"
weak.
and then he starts crying about
Maybe he
it.
has trauma or something. Doesn't make him a weak man. Like if a man dares to cry in front of me, that makes me feel more like honored. Like, oh, you trust me, you dare to cry in front of me, and I'll take care of you.